Look around the room you're sitting in right now. Really look, not at the mess, at everything. The things on the shelves, the things in the drawers you haven't opened in months, the things behind the things. Here is a truth almost no one will tell you. Your home isn't dirty. It isn't even messy. It's overloaded. And no amount of scrubbing on a Saturday will fix a problem that isn't about dirt at all. It's about how much you're holding. Walk into a traditional Japanese home, and the first thing you feel isn't cleanliness. It's space, air, a kind of quiet that seems to come from the walls themselves. And your first thought is usually, they must clean constantly. But they don't. The secret isn't that they clean more than you, it's that they keep far, far less. They've quietly removed the things that make a home heavy, and once those things are gone, the home almost takes care of itself. Today, I'm going to walk you through 15 things Japanese people simply never keep at home. Some of them are sitting in your house right now in plain sight. A few you'll want to remove the moment I name them. And number 15 isn't a thing you can hold at all. It's the one that's quietly weighing on you the most. And it's the reason the other 14 matter. Stay with me to the end, because each one builds on the last. And the final one changes how you'll see your entire home. A quick warning before we begin. Some of these will sound almost too simple. You'll think, that's it? That can't make a difference. That feeling, this is too small to matter, is exactly why your home still feels the way it does. The Japanese understand something we've forgotten. A calm home isn't built in one heroic weekend. It's built by refusing to let the wrong things in, one small decision at a time. You won't need to buy anything, hire anyone, or sacrifice a whole weekend to make this work. You only need to be willing to release what was never truly adding to your life in the first place. And here's the strange gift of it. Every single thing you remove gives you something back. A little more space, a little more calm, a little more of the home you actually wanted. Let's begin. Number 1. Outdoor shoes past the entrance. In the West, we walk in from the street, past the gas station, the office floor, the public bathroom, the sidewalk, and we carry all of it straight across the living room carpet and sometimes right up to the bed. We don't even think about it. Shoes are just part of the outfit, indoors and out. In Japan, this is almost unthinkable. Every home has a genkan, a small sunken entryway where shoes come off every single time, without exception. It isn't only about the dirt, though studies of what rides in on the soles of our shoes would make anyone pause. It's about a deeper idea, uchi and sodo, inside and outside. The genkan is a border. On one side is the world, noisy, dusty, demanding. On the other side is home. And you do not drag one into the other. Here, quote, the shift. When you take your shoes off at the door, you're not just protecting your floors, you're performing a tiny ritual that tells your body the outside stays outside now. The stress of the commute, the tension of the day, you literally step out of it. A home where outdoor shoes never cross the threshold is cleaner, yes. But more than that, it feels like a different world from the street. And that's the entire point of having a home in the first place. Tonight, try it. Create your own genkan, even if it's just a mat by the door and a small basket for shoes. Take them off. Watch how quickly the room stops feeling like an extension of the street. Number 2. Just in case things. Open the cupboard. You know the one. Inside is the thing you're keeping just in case. The cables to a device you no longer own. The spare parts for something that broke years ago. The gadget you might need someday. In the West, just in case feels responsible, prepared, wise, even. So we hold on, and the holding quietly fills every shelf, every drawer, every corner of the garage. The Japanese have a practice called danshari. 3 characters: refuse, dispose, separate. Refuse what you don't need coming in. Dispose of what no longer serves you. And separate yourself from the desire to cling. Danshari isn't about throwing everything away. It's about honestly asking of each object, is this earning its place in my life right now? Or am I keeping it only to protect myself from a future that may never come? Here's the shift. Just in case is not caution. It's fear, wearing the costume of caution. And fear, stored in 100 drawers, makes a home feel heavy in a way you can feel but can't quite name. Almost every just-in-case item is a bet against yourself, a quiet belief that you won't be able to handle, find, or afford the thing if you ever truly need it. You will. You almost always do. Pick one drawer this week. Take out everything you're keeping just in case and be honest about the last time it was useful. What you'll feel when it's gone isn't loss. It's relief. Number 3. Duplicates. Count your spatulas. Go ahead. Most Western kitchens have 3, 4, 5, plus the ones in the drawer that don't quite work. Count the mugs, the scissors, the half-used bottles of the same shampoo. We buy multiples almost without noticing, because more feels safer, and because a single one never feels like quite enough. In Japan, there's an old idea captured in the phrase taru wo shiru, to know what is enough. Not deprivation, not owning a single sad fork out of some vow of poverty. Simply knowing the point at which more stops adding anything and starts taking something away. One excellent knife, cared for, sharpened, known by the hand, is worth more than a drawer of dull, forgotten ones. Here, quote, the shift. Duplicates don't give you abundance, they give you decisions. Every extra version of a thing is one more object to store, to clean around, to move, to look at, to choose between. When you own one good pot instead of 5 mediocre ones, cooking gets lighter. When you own one warm coat you love instead of 4 you tolerate, mornings get simpler. There is a quiet confidence in owning one of something and knowing it's enough, a confidence that duplicates quietly erode, because deep down, 5 spatulas is a way of saying you don't trust any single one of them, or yourself, to be enough. Enough is not the enemy of a good life. Enough is the doorway to it. Go to the most crowded category in your home, the mugs, the pens, the tote bags, and keep only the ones you'd actually choose. Let the rest go to someone who has none. Number 4. Clutter left out on surfaces. Look at your countertops, your desk. The little table by the door where everything lands, the keys, the mail, the receipts, the charger, the thing you'll deal with later. In the West, flat surfaces are magnets. If there is a horizontal space, within a week it holds a small civilization of objects with nowhere else to go. In a Japanese home, surfaces are kept clear on purpose. The principle is simple and old. Everything has a place, and everything returns to its place. Not because they are stricter than you, but because they've learned that an object without a home doesn't just sit somewhere, it colonizes. One item left out gives permission to the next. Soon the counter isn't a counter. It's a shelf you never agreed to build. Here, quote, the shift. A clear surface isn't empty. It's ready. Ready for you to cook, to work, to think, to simply set down a cup of tea and feel that there is room in your life. Visual clutter is not neutral. Your eyes take in every object, and every object makes a small, silent request for your attention. A room full of stuff is a room full of tiny voices. Clear the surfaces, and the room finally goes quiet. Tonight, choose one surface. Just one. Give every object on it a real home, or let it go. Then keep that one surface clear for a week, and notice how often your eyes return to it, just to rest. Number 5. Furniture you don't need. Western homes are often built around filling space. A big room feels like it demands a big couch, a big table, a big cabinet, an armchair in the corner, side tables to hold the lamps. We buy furniture to match the size of the room, and then we buy more things to fill the furniture. The room gets fuller, and somehow, smaller. The Japanese aesthetic treasures something we rarely think to value. Ema, the empty space between things. In music, ma is the silence between the notes that makes it music instead of noise. In a room, ma is the open floor, the bare wall, the breathing space that gives everything else meaning. A traditional room can transform, a place to eat, then to work, then to sleep, precisely because it isn't stuffed full of furniture that can only do one thing. Here, quote, the shift. Empty space is not wasted space. It is the most luxurious thing a room can offer. When you remove the furniture you don't truly use, the chair no one sits in, the table that only collects clutter, the cabinet full of things you've forgotten, you're not losing anything. You're giving the room back its ability to breathe and giving yourself room to move through your own home without weaving around obstacles. Walk through your home and find one piece of furniture that exists only to hold clutter or fill a corner. Imagine the room without it. If the room feels lighter in your mind, it will feel lighter in reality. Number 6. Clothes you haven't worn in a year. Open your closet. Somewhere in there is a garment you haven't worn in a year. Probably many. The jeans from 2 sizes ago, the gift that never fit your life, the special occasion piece for an occasion that never comes. In the West, a full closet feels like abundance and possibility. In truth, it usually means we get dressed from the same 10% while the other 90% hangs there as quiet guilt. In Japan, the changing of the seasons brings a practice called koromogai, the seasonal rotation of clothing. Twice a year, the wardrobe is deliberately reviewed. Out-of-season clothes are cleaned and stored away, and as they're handled, each item is quietly judged. Is this still part of my life, or is it just taking up space and attention? Nothing simply accumulates untouched for years in the dark. Here, quote, the shift. A closet you love is not one that's full. It's one where everything in it fits you, suits you, and is ready to wear. When you remove the clothes that don't, the wrong size, the wrong life, the wrong you, getting dressed stops being a negotiation with disappointment. You open the closet and everything you see is a yes. Take out everything you haven't worn in a year. Be gentle but honest. The clothes you're keeping for a body you used to have or a life you don't lead are not serving you. Someone else needs them far more than your closet does. Number 7. Broken things waiting to be fixed. The chair with the wobbly leg. The lamp that flickers. The appliance you're going to get around to repairing. In the West, we store broken things out of a mix of guilt and optimism. It feels wasteful to throw them out, and surely someday we'll fix them. So they wait. In the garage, in the closet, in the corner. For years, Japan has a beautiful relationship with repair. Think of kintsugi, the art of mending broken pottery with veins of gold, treating the break as part of the object's story rather than a flaw to hide. But notice, kintsugi is repair. It's action. What Japan doesn't do is let broken things live in limbo, neither used nor fixed nor released, quietly radiating a low hum of, "You failed to deal with me," every time you walk past. Here, quote, the shift. A broken thing you're keeping isn't really an object anymore. It's an unfinished task, wearing the disguise of an object. And unfinished tasks are heavy. So make the honest choice each broken thing is asking for. Either fix it, truly, this month, on a real day, or let it go. What you cannot afford is the third option you've been choosing by default, keeping it broken forever as a monument to good intentions. Walk your home and find every broken thing. For each one, decide today, repair or release, not someday. Choose. Number 8, piles of paper. Mail, receipts, old bills, manuals for devices you no longer own. School papers, warranties, that stack on the counter you keep meaning to sort. Paper is the clutter that hides in plain sight because each individual sheet feels too small to matter, and so it multiplies quietly into drifts and piles and drawers that won't close. In the Japanese approach to a calm home, paper is treated as what it is, mostly noise with a few grains of signal hidden inside. The vast majority of what comes into your home on paper needs to be handled once and then gone, recycled, filed, or acted on immediately, not set down for now. Because for now is where paper goes to breed. Here, quote, the shift. Paper clutter isn't just physically messy, it's mentally loud. Every pile is a stack of small, unmade decisions and unfinished actions, sitting in your line of sight, whispering that you're behind. When you clear the paper, you're not just tidying a surface. You're closing dozens of tiny open loops in your mind, and the quiet that follows is startling. We rarely connect the pile on the counter to the low hum of anxiety we feel at home. but they are the same thing wearing two faces. Every unopened envelope is a small "not yet." Every stack is a to-do list you never agreed to write. Deal with the paper, and a surprising amount of that background pressure simply lifts. Take 15 minutes and gather every loose paper in one place. Handle each once, act, file, or recycle. Then create a single small tray for incoming paper and empty it every week. One tray, not 10 piles. 9. Boxes, bags, and packaging kept for later. The closet full of flattened cardboard boxes in case you move. The drawer bursting with plastic bags. The gift bags saved from birthdays 3 years ago. The packaging from the electronics, kept in case you return it, long after the return window closed. In the West, saving packaging feels thrifty and responsible. Their quote as a Japanese word often misunderstood in the West. Mottainai, a sense of regret at waste, at letting something's value go unused. It's real and it's beautiful. But mottainai, understood properly, is not an excuse to hoard. The true waste isn't throwing out an empty box. The true waste is letting empty boxes fill the space where your life is supposed to happen. Trading the room you live in for the storage of things that hold nothing. Here, quote, the shift. Empty packaging is, almost by definition, potential without purpose. You're storing the container and losing the space. A cupboard full of might-need-it bags is a cupboard you cannot use for anything real. Keep a small, sane number, a few bags, a couple of boxes, and release the rest without guilt. That is mottainai applied correctly, honoring your space, which is the most valuable thing you own. Go to wherever your bags and boxes breed. Keep a small, deliberate amount. Recycle the rest today while you're thinking about it. Number 10. A room built around the television. Walk into most Western living rooms, and you can instantly find the center of gravity, the television. Every chair points at it. The couch is placed for viewing. The whole room is quietly arranged around a black rectangle, as if the purpose of the space is to face a screen together in silence. In a traditional Japanese home, the heart of the shared room is more likely a low table, a place for tea, for a shared meal, for conversation, for sitting together. The room is arranged around human beings and what passes between them, not around a device. The screen, if there is one, serves the room. It doesn't rule it. Here, quote, the shift. The layout of a room decides what happens in it. When every seat faces a screen, the default activity of your home becomes watching, passive, silent, side by side, but not truly together. When the seats face each other, the default becomes connection. You don't need to throw out your television. You need to stop letting it sit at the head of the table of your life. Turn the chairs. Put a real table, or a few good cushions, at the center. Watch what comes back into the room when the screen stops being the point. This week, turn one chair away from the screen and toward the room. Notice who sits in it and what you talk about. Number 11. 20 different cleaning products. Under the Western sink is a small chemical warehouse. A different spray for glass, for wood, for stone, for stainless steel, for the bathroom, for the kitchen, for the floor, for the air. Each one promised to solve a problem, and each one now takes up space, half used, most of them nearly identical under their different labels and scents. The Japanese approach to keeping a home clean leans on something quieter than a cabinet full of products: consistency and simplicity. A few basic tools, a cloth, the habit of wiping as you go, suide suji, cleaning along the way, so that grime never has the chance to build into the kind of mess that demands a special product and a lost afternoon. Here, quote, the shift. 20 cleaning products don't make your home cleaner. They make your cabinet fuller and your cleaning more complicated. A clean home comes from small, frequent, effortless habits. Wipe the sink after you use it. Wipe the counter after you cook, not from an arsenal of sprays you deploy in a panic before guests arrive. Simplify what's under the sink, and cleaning stops being an event you dread and becomes something that barely registers. The homes that always seem clean are almost never the ones with the most products. They're the ones where a cloth is always within reach and a mess is wiped the moment it appears before it ever becomes a chore. Cleanliness, it turns out, is less about power and more about rhythm. Pull everything out from under your sink. Keep the few things you actually use. The rest, the impulse buys, the miracle sprays, let them go and feel how much lighter even that hidden cabinet becomes. Number 12. Chemical air fresheners. In the West, when a room smells stale, we spray something over it. A plug-in, an aerosol, a synthetic fresh linen or mountain breeze designed to mask the air rather than change it. We layer scent on top of the problem and call it clean. In a Japanese home, freshness comes first from the simplest act imaginable: opening the windows. Air is let to move, rooms are ventilated daily, futons are aired, and the home breathes. When scent is added, it tends to be gentle and natural. A stick of incense, the clean smell of wood and tatami, the quiet fragrance of a space that is genuinely clean rather than chemically disguised. Here. Quote S, the shift. A fresh-smelling home isn't one you've sprayed, it's one you've aired. Masking stale air with chemicals is like turning up music to hide a strange noise in your engine. You've covered the signal, not solved the problem. Real freshness is free, and it comes through the window. Open your home to moving air every day, and you'll need the can far less, and eventually, not at all. Tomorrow morning, before anything else, open the windows for a few minutes, even in the cold. Let the house exhale. It changes the entire feel of a room in a way no spray ever has. Number 13. Decorative clutter. The shelves crowded with trinkets. The walls covered edge to edge. The surfaces dotted with little decorative objects, most of them bought in a moment, dusted for years, and truly seen by no one anymore. In the West, we often decorate by addition: more frames, more ornaments, more, until cozy quietly becomes crowded. The Japanese sensibility of wabi-sabi finds beauty in simplicity, in restraint, in the imperfect and the few. A traditional room might hold a single scroll, one carefully chosen flower arrangement, and a great deal of calm, empty space around them. The beauty isn't in the number of objects, it's in the space that lets each meaningful object actually be seen. Here, quote S, the shift. When everything is decoration, nothing is. 50 trinkets on a shelf don't add up to 50 times the beauty. They cancel each other out into visual noise. But remove the 45 that don't move you, and the 5 that remain finally have room to breathe, to mean something, to be looked at. A home isn't made beautiful by how much you display. It's made beautiful by how much you're willing to leave out. Think of how a museum shows a single treasure, alone, lit, surrounded by space, so that you cannot help but see it. Your home can do the same for the objects you truly love. Crowd them together and they vanish into background. Give them room and they become the quiet centerpieces of a life. Choose one crowded shelf. Take everything off it. Put back only the few pieces you genuinely love. Live with the space around them for a week and see if you ever want the rest back. Number 14. A room that can only do one thing. In the West, we assign each room a single, fixed identity and then fill it with furniture that locks it into that one purpose forever. The dining room used twice a year. The guest room that's really just storage. The bed that dominates the bedroom so completely that the room can be nothing but a place to sleep. We own square footage we barely use because our things won't let the rooms change. In a traditional Japanese home, space is famously flexible. A futon is laid out at night and folded away by morning, and the bedroom becomes a living room, a workspace, a place to stretch or share tea. The room adapts to the life being lived in it, hour by hour, because it isn't nailed shut by furniture that can only do one thing. This flexibility is again. The value of keeping space open to possibility. Here, quote S, the shift. A room that can only do one thing is a room you can only use one way. When you stop over-furnishing your space and start letting it flex, a small home suddenly feels large because every room can become whatever the moment needs. You don't need a bigger house. You often just need rooms that are allowed to change. Look for the one room in your home that's frozen into a single, rarely used purpose and ask what else it could become if you cleared what's holding it hostage. Free one room from its single fixed job. Remove what locks it in place. Let it become two things, then three. Watch your home quietly grow without adding a single square foot. Number 15. And this is the one I asked you to stay for, because it's the thing Japanese people never keep at home that you cannot see, touch, or put in a box. It's yesterday. The grudge from the argument, the stress you carried in from work, the frustration of the commute, the worry you've been chewing on all day, the version of yourself that the outside world demanded you be. In the West, we walk through the front door still wearing all of it, and we set it down in the middle of the living room, and it stays there, invisible, souring the air of the one place that was supposed to be our refuge. Remember the very first thing on this list, the genken, the threshold where shoes come off. In Japan, that border isn't only for shoes. It's the place where you're meant to leave the day itself, to step out of who the world needed you to be and step into who you actually are, at home, among the people and the quiet you love. The daily ritual of arrival, a breath at the door, a change of clothes, a warm cup of tea, a spoken, "I'm home," is how you set the day's weight down instead of carrying it to the dinner table and into the bedroom and under the sheets. Here, quote, the shift, and it's the one that ties all 15 together. Everything on this list, the shoes, the just-in-case things, the duplicates, the piles, the broken objects, the trinkets, is the same act repeated in different forms, refusing to carry into your home what doesn't belong there. A calm home isn't the reward you earn after a hard weekend of cleaning. It's the natural result of 100 small refusals of things and of the invisible weight we let follow us inside. And the heaviest thing you carry across your threshold every single day was never a thing at all. It was yesterday. Set it down at the door. So look around your room again, the one you started in. It hasn't changed yet, but the way you see it has. You no longer see a home that needs cleaning. You see a home that's been carrying too much, waiting quietly for permission to let some of it go. Here, quote, the single thread running through all 15. In the West, we've been taught that a good home is a full one, full of possessions, full of comforts, full of proof that we're doing well. Japan quietly teaches the opposite, that a good home is one with room to live in. Empty space isn't a lack. It's the presence of possibility. It's where a child plays, where a conversation happens, where a breath finally goes all the way down. The things we clear away were never protecting us. They were crowding out the very life we were trying to make room for. Notice that not one of these 15 asked you to add anything. No new gadget, no clever storage system, no product that promises to organize the chaos. Every single one asked you to remove. That is the quiet genius of the Japanese home. It isn't built by getting more, but by needing less. And needing less, it turns out, is one of the most freeing things a person can learn. You don't have to do all 15 this weekend. That's not how a calm home is built. It's built the same way it was lost, one small choice at a time. So don't try to empty your whole house tonight. Just choose one. The one that tugged at you as you listened, the drawer, the closet, the surface, the shelf, or the weight you've been carrying through the door. Remove that one thing today. And tomorrow, remove one more. Now tell me down in the comments, which number are you starting with? Just the number, 1 to 15. I read every single one. If number 15 was the one that landed, type 15, and let's remind each other to leave the day at the door. And if this gave you a lighter way to see your home, do one small thing for me. Like this video so it reaches someone whose house has been quietly weighing on them. Subscribe to Japanese Everyday Wisdom for more calm, practical wisdom from everyday Japanese life. And share this with the one person you'd most want to come home to a peaceful house with. Because in the end, you were never trying to build a cleaner home. You were trying to build a place where life has room to breathe. Start with one thing. Start today.